In a forsaken world abandoned by its gods, an epic battle unfolded. The outer gods, known as the Itarim, created numerous universes and noticed the owner of a distant dimension had vanished. Drawn by the immense mana left behind, the Itarim declared, "The first to claim this power becomes its master," sparking the war of the outer gods. A powerful screech pierced the dimensional rift, and the Itarim's followers tore through the walls of multiple universes. However, a man cloaked in black aura, Sung Jin-woo, the monarch of shadows, stood firm. "Rise," he commanded, and an army of angels and shadows readied their weapons. Despite countless invaders falling, an endless surge continued. The battle raged on, unyielding and relentless. The six-winged rulers, once messengers of God, had become god-slayers. They acknowledged Sung Jin-woo's crucial role in their defense. Eons ago, the god who created this world divided light and darkness into 8 pieces each, creating the fragments of brilliant light and the monarchs. Locked in an endless cycle of war, countless lives were lost, including those of the commanders. Yet, whenever a leader fell, another would rise to take their place. Whenever a monarch's astral body perished or a fragment of brilliant light died, the primordial darkness or light within them would seek new candidates, maintaining the balance of war. This grim truth, that the war served the amusement of the absolute being who desired endless conflict, was discovered after many eons. Eventually, the absolute being and all the monarchs perished, bringing a long-awaited peace. However, this peace was short-lived as opportunistic outer gods, sensing the absence of the absolute being, launched an invasion. Followers of Itarim continued to be born, while the defenders' forces remained stagnant. Silver soldiers, once born from the fruit of the world tree and led by the rulers, could no longer replenish their numbers after the absolute being's death. Only the monarch of shadows, Sung Jin-woo, and his immortal legion remained. Creation's power had vanished, but death remained eternal. Without Sung Jin-woo's continuously resurrecting shadow army, the war would have ended in total annihilation. One day, Sung Jin-woo received urgent news from his commander, Igris. The rear defense line had been breached, with the weakest magical point being targeted, Earth. Sung Jin-woo sighed, realizing that Earth, which had barely regained peace, was once again exposed to a grave threat. The rulers, aware of another potential gate opening on Earth, were cautious of Sung Jin-woo's next move. In the past, Earth had faced invasions from another dimension, orchestrated by the rulers themselves. Their previous goal was to nurture Earth to protect it from the monarchs. Now, however, the Itarim's sole objective was pure aggression, targeting the weakest point in their defenses. Despite Igris's urgent plea for reinforcements to Earth, the rulers opposed the idea, fearing it would disrupt the delicate balance of power. Splitting their forces would leave the front lines vulnerable, potentially leading to their defeat. After considering both sides, the Monarch of Shadows made his decision. He called upon Beru, the Ant King, who eagerly responded. Sung Jin-woo tasked Beru with a mission to Earth, stating that it was time to break Suho's seal. Without hesitation, Beru transformed into a beam of light and headed to Earth. As Beru departed, Sung Jin-woo's gaze shifted back to the approaching enemies. His determination remained unwavering as he prepared for the continued assault from the followers of the outer gods. The war raged on, with Sung Jin-woo and his shadow army standing as the last line of defense against the relentless invaders. Meanwhile on Earth, Lim Dog-yoon, a teaching assistant at Hanguk University's Department of Painting, seemed uninterested in Suho's artwork. Suho had displayed various pieces depicting ants, including oil paintings, watercolors, and sketches. Despite Dog-yoon's teasing, it was clear that Suho had a deep fascination with ants. Suho explained that he had been fascinated by ants since childhood. Whenever he saw a line of ants marching, he would walk carefully to avoid stepping on them. One painting, in particular, showed a humanoid ant with a dark, menacing aura. This was inspired by a recurring dream he had before the Great Cataclysm. The Great Cataclysm was a catastrophic event that happened 2 years ago. During this time, monstrous creatures emerged from mysterious gates all over Earth, bringing the world to the brink of destruction. Fortunately, some humans awakened supernatural abilities which helped them fight off the invaders and save humanity. In his dreams, Suho often found himself battling various monsters, including ant soldiers and massive dragons. It was like a game where he would level up with each battle. These dreams stopped after his parents went missing during his first year of high school. The ant in his painting represented the monster that haunted his nightmares, constantly trying to kill him. Despite the horror of these dreams, Suho's fascination with ants remained, and he channeled it into his artwork. His paintings were vivid and dynamic, capturing the essence of his experiences and nightmares. Suho looked back and remembered those dreadful dreams. In his dreams, he had to battle various monsters, including armored knights, ant soldiers, and massive dragons. Each time he killed a monster, he leveled up like in a game. However, if he died, everything reset to level 1 and he had to start over. The only way to escape the dream was to survive until he reached the final boss. When he finally got there, the face of the final boss resembled his father. These nightmares stopped around the time his parents went missing during his first year of high school, marking the end of his peaceful life. Somewhere in the college, in a corner of the art gallery, something unusual was happening. A group of painting department students, led by a senior, opened the storeroom door to retrieve art displays. Inside, they were astonished to find a pitch-black hole hovering over the wall. Initially terrified, the students started to panic. The senior quickly calmed them down, explaining that it was a closed gate, as the blue mist hadn't started flowing out yet. A dungeon break, where magic beasts emerge, would only happen after the blue mist polluted the surroundings. Feeling relieved, the students listened as the senior mentioned a rumor that breathing in the blue mist could awaken magical abilities. Intrigued upon hearing that, they decided to wait, hoping one of them might become an S-rank hunter. The possibility of gaining extraordinary powers was tempting, despite the risk. The hushed words of the fourth-year student changed the atmosphere. The students began to consider the enormous earnings made by S-rank hunters. With the emergence of magic beast remains and dungeon ores as new resources, hunters had become symbols of wealth and prosperity. Yet only 2 years had passed since the great cataclysm, and the process of awakening magic powers remained unclear. The senior mentioned that Dog-Yoon, the teaching assistant, was an E-rank hunter. Despite his complaints about the low pay, the senior explained that even E-rank hunters earned significantly by participating in dungeon expeditions. This revelation piqued the students' curiosity and envy. The senior's persistent persuasion and tales of hunter earnings eventually convinced the students to set aside their phones. They decided to wait a little longer, hoping to inhale the blue mist that was rumored to awaken magical abilities. A few moments later, a deep blue mist began to slowly seep out of the gate. Thud! Suddenly, the building shook. Suho, in the exhibition hall, felt something was off. He was the only one who noticed the disturbance. A figure slowly approached the entrance. A student limped in, looking distressed. Dog-Yoon, near the entrance, asked the student, Young Chol, what took him so long. Young Chol, struggling to speak, mentioned something about the senior and smoke. Dog-Yoon's expression stiffened as he examined Young Chol, whose eyes shook uncontrollably. Before long, puffs of blue mist began to leak from Young Chol's nose and mouth. Panicking, he tried to cover his mouth, but the smoke continued to escape. Suddenly, scorching heat and blue smoke engulfed Young Chol's body. Suho rushed to pull Dog-Yoon away just in time. Young Chol screamed in agony as his body burned. The students nearby witnessed the horrifying scene and screamed in terror. Suddenly, a wailing siren echoed from the school's loudspeakers, announcing an emergency. The students crowded around the loudspeaker, learning that a gate had spawned on campus, specifically within the art gallery building. Panic ensued as the students realized the danger. Young Chol's burning body blocked the exit, forcing them to find another way out. Amid the chaos, Young Chol's charred corpse, consumed by the blue smoke, began to rise again. Dog-Yoon, in disbelief, shouted that it was a magic beast and urged everyone to get away. Crack! Some students screamed while others convulsed on the floor, spewing blood. As the blue mist clung to their clothes, their bodies began to burn fiercely. In utter chaos, the students scattered in all directions, their desperate screams filling the air. Dogyun urgently took out his cell phone to request help, knowing a mist burn was beyond his capabilities. He explained to Suho that if the creature defeated them, they would turn into the same thing. As the beast screamed, the fallen students afflicted with mistburn began to rise again, blue smoke emitting from their bodies.